Today we have our BBB Virtual Small Business Resource Fair. I would like to take a moment to introduce our panelists. First, we have Brad Currie with SBA. Brad is a U.S. Army Reserve retiree. After leaving active duty service in Germany in 2011, Brad moved back to his home state of Colorado, where he worked for the VA Medical Center in Denver. Then started working for the U.S. Small Business Administration in 2013 and completed his bachelor's in business management. Brad moved to Maine in 2017 to be the senior area manager covering Southern Maine. Next, I would like to welcome Zeynep Turk with Maine International Trade Center. She is a native of Istanbul, Turkey. She came to Maine for her undergraduate and graduate studies. After completing her MBA at University of Maine, she began working in the banking industry for over 10 years. She has been at the Maine International Trade Center for 17 years. She works with life science industries and helps medical and veterinarian science companies with their international trade needs. She also heads up the StudyMaine initiative, which focuses on attracting international students to Maine. Finally, from New Ventures Maine, we have Karleen Andrews. Karleen is the Microenterprise specialist for New Ventures Maine in the Western region. Since joining NVME in 2014, she has provided individual coaching and comprehensive business plan training to established and inspiring entrepreneurs across the region. Before joining them, she was the manager of a small community-based ski area in Farmington, Maine, where she was responsible for overall operations, marketing, event coordination, and employee and volunteer training, among other duties. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Forestry from the University of Maine. Karleen is a certified business advisor through the New England Professional Development Group. And with that, I will open the floor for Brad to start us off.
Excellent. Good afternoon. Thank you, Danielle. I am Brad Currie, Senior Area Manager for the SBA Maine District Office, covering York and Cumberland County. I am also the District International Trade Officer, covering the state, the Thrive Emerging Leaders Program Manager for the Maine cohort, and the Veteran Business Development Officer for Southern Maine. The SBA, or the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, is a federal agency enacted in 1953. The cornerstones of our agency are counseling, capital, contracting, and disaster assistance. Disaster assistance is probably most notable over the last few years with the COVID-19 recovery assistance through the Paycheck Protection Program, or otherwise known as the PPP, and the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Outside of the pandemic relief efforts, the SBA is on the ground with FEMA in physical disaster areas after floods, fires, hurricanes, etc. We are there to assist borrowers and homeowners and renters recover from that disaster by providing disaster assistance loans. These basically help cover the gap between recovery costs and what your insurance pays out. Just to note on that, I did say homeowners and renters as well. So if you live in an area that's been deemed a disaster declared area, either by the SBA's administrator or by the president, then you can apply for these disaster loans as well and not have to own a business. Just wanted to make sure that is clear, because a lot of people don't think that. They think, oh, it's just only for those business owners. Next up is government contracting, or selling to the government. Can be very intimidating with all the rules and regulations. The SBA and partners like the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or PTAC, can help you understand and take advantage of this very valuable market. The US government is the world's largest purchaser, buying everything from #2 pencils to Tomahawk missiles. If it's being sold, there's a good chance the government has or is buying. Along the same line is exporting. After the pandemic, several businesses were looking for new markets because the typical markets they had prior to the pandemic slowed down or went away altogether. Like selling to the government, there is a lot of intimidation, not knowing where in the world to start, language barriers, currency conversions, how do I get paid, all viable concerns. The SBA and partners like the Maine International Trade Center and the Maine Small Business Development Center can assist you in starting and growing your export venture. Shortly, you'll hear from Zeynep from the Maine International Trade Center, so I won't take up too much time on this topic, but I wanted to also touch on the SBA's State Trade Expansion Program, or STEP program, which MITC administers for us. Just to touch a little bit on it, the STEP is a grant program where you can get up to $20,000 per year. These funds must be used towards your exporting venture. Some examples are getting to and setting up at an expo in Germany, for example, where you can have your product right there in front of your potential buyers, or redesigning your website so it's in different languages or can accept different currencies, etc. But I'll let Zeynep talk a little bit more on that. Capital. It takes money to make money in business. Outside a disaster, the SBA doesn't lend money directly. However, we can provide guarantees to lenders so they are able to turn a denial into an approval. Most banks and several credit unions in Maine are SBA authorized lenders. There are also a few non-bank lenders with the authority to use SBA guarantees. This process starts at your current lender. You apply for a small business loan. If for some reason your application doesn't meet their banking policies for an approval, they can request a guarantee from the SBA. If you don't have a lender, your lender isn't a SBA lender, or their policies are limited to who they lend to being industries, or some banks don't do startups, for example, things like that, then you can use the SBA lender match tool. My district director likes to say it's match.com for borrowers because it finds you that lender that matches with your business. If your situation is still a bit too risky for the banks and you can't get that loan through them with that guarantee even, you can connect with one of our 5 micro lenders here in Maine. They use SBA dollars to lend to those riskier borrowers. They can lend between $500 and $50,000. There is a mandatory training that comes with this to help you become more bankable once you've went through their program and you've been loaned $500,000 or $500 and then paid that back, and then $1,000 paid that back, and just rebuilt your credit history if that may have been the issue. You've gotten all these different trainings through them as well to help make you bankable, so you can apply for those bigger bank loans from those other lenders through the banks and the credit unions. Counseling. The SBA heavily relies on our official resource partners as our advising arm. They provide free business advising and mentorship for any business at any stage and in any industry. There are 4 of these partners. Maine Small Business Development Center, I mentioned them earlier because they have SBA certified export planners that help you with that part of your business. The SBDC also has a YouTube channel with several videos covering a variety of business concerns, as well as a business plan series. So you can easily go to YouTube, put in Maine SBDC or Maine Small Business Development Center. It'll bring up their channel. Great information. SCORE is an all-volunteer organization with mentors and subject matter experts from different industries and backgrounds. When you request a mentor from SCORE, you are matched with a mentor that has the ability to reach out to other mentors and subject matter experts from across the country. They also have a focus on new Mainers here in Maine. The Women's Business Center, or WBC, focuses on women-owned businesses as well as the immigrant population. Anyone can join in and attend their trainings and workshops that they have, but they do focus their advising towards that first population of women and immigrant population here in Maine. They also have a grants resource guide to assist in applying for grants as well. Finally, we have the Veteran Business Outreach Center that focuses on veterans and family member-owned businesses. They administer the Boost to Business and Reboot programs here in Maine. This is a business startup class specifically designed for veterans and family members. All of these partners provide free business advising and mentorship and a ton of free workshops and webinars. The only workshop that I can think of that a client needs to pay for from any of them is a QuickBooks class through SCORE, which they had to bring in somebody from QuickBooks to be able to provide that particular training. Otherwise, all of their workshops, trainings, their advising and mentors are all free. So I encourage anyone that is looking for assistance to connect with them and get that information. Just a wealth of knowledge. The SBA Maine District Office also offers several trainings and webinars. For example, I conduct 8 business basic classes per year. This year, 4 will be in person held in Southern Maine and 4 will be virtual for anyone to attend. This is a 2-hour class, just jam-packed with great information that helps you formulate those questions you have and then takes you on to those resource partners to where you have good questions to ask them and can start off that relationship with them a little bit better. I mentioned being the Thrive Emerging Leaders Program Manager. This is a 6-month-long program specifically designed for established businesses poised for growth. The culmination is to create an actionable 3-year growth plan, and the additional benefits from attending the program are invaluable. Minimum requirements are at least 3 years in operation, at least $250,000 in annual revenue, and at least 1 other employee to be able to delegate responsibilities so that you can step back and work more on your business and not so much in your business. We will be holding a graduation event for the 2022 cohort on January 27th in Augusta. You will not only hear from this year's participants, but from alumni and how the program has impacted their businesses over the years. If you're interested in applying for the next cohort or attending the graduation, please reach out to me. Another training we have coming up is business transitions. How can you preserve your legacy? This is on January 25th, and you'll be learning about creating an exit strategy for your business. Our website is www.sba.gov/ME. The site is very informational and accessible. We have a calendar of events, a learning center, several different tabs to get information on other topics. And I encourage everyone to sign up for our email updates to stay informed of SBA happenings within the state of Maine. The SBA Maine District Office is a great first step when looking for small business assistance. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you, Brad. That was a lot of great information about your resources. Next, we will have Zeynep, and I will let her take over the floor.
Hello, thank you again for this opportunity. As Danielle, when she was introducing me, mentioned, I'm Zeynep Turk. I'm the Senior Trade Specialist at the Maine International Trade Center. And the Maine International Trade Center is, for all practical purposes, the state's international trade-focused economic development agency, helping businesses in the state. And typically we work with small to mid-sized businesses because the larger corporations have their international trade teams that focus on those issues. But at times we do collaborate with them as well. So our number one service is one-on-one assistance and to anything trade related. And we help on the import side as well as on the export side. At the federal level, U.S. Commercial Service, we partner with them a lot, but they only help with export-related matters. We are happy to help both inbound and outbound inquiries. We're more, I always say we're more jacks of all trade. We're not in-depth experts. Let's say you have some issue that's really critical, shipping related. Then we do have a network of experts that we would refer you to on the logistics shipping side, banking, typically with any export or import related issues. It's usually getting your goods from point A to point B and getting paid or to be able to pay. So we do make sure to get you the information and get you connected with the experts. And compliance is another one, if it's especially food or defense or medical products. There's a lot of compliance involved, issues involved, and we want to make sure that you get the information which we'll provide, but then you get, if you need certain certifications, we connect you to the experts. We do, as far as beyond trade help, we have a couple of initiatives. Invest in Maine is one, which is to help attract international investment to the state. DIME, which is the defense industry of Maine, that's a focus on defense industry and companies that are supporting the industry. At times there's collaboration opportunities, economies of scale in attending trade shows, and at times there might be some funding, which I'll talk about SBA's funding in a bit that Brad mentioned. StudyMaine is to help attract international students to the state. As Danielle mentioned before, I came as an international student to beautiful Maine, and that we're just trying to help our high schools and universities with their efforts to bring more international students to the state and making connections. MENADO is Maine North Atlantic Development Office. That's to help make connections with trade, with at times with even arts, with education in the region. And some of these collaborative efforts, some examples would be, we hosted a Seagriculture conference last September, which was a global conference focusing on seaweed industry. And there are some Arctic conference missions that we've organized groups to attend the Arctic conference held at Iceland. And there are a lot of discussions around climate change and sustainability and blue economy. And Maine definitely wants to be involved and engaged at those levels. And then on the trade front, we organize trade missions and trade shows. And for example, Brad mentioned we recently, last November, I was involved with that, we brought 9 Maine companies over to Düsseldorf, Germany for the largest medical trade show in the world. And the benefit to the companies is we take care of all the, nitty-gritty of like the setup of the booth and all the arrangements. So, and support pre, during, and post the trade show. So you can just focus on just making connections and selling your products and promoting your products. And we did offer the step grants, which I'll talk about later, to make it easier for the companies to attend financially, because we know that for especially small to mid-sized businesses, every dollar counts. So this is for new business development and trade missions. I just talk about trade shows. Trade shows are industry specific. Trade missions are multi-industry. So we typically try to take a group of Maine companies overseas and work with them to make connections, one-to-one business matchmaking, etc. And at times these are gubernatorial trade missions where the governor participates as well. So it brings it to a higher level where there's state-to-state connections, and the businesses get a bit more of a boost having the state's governor join the mission and get more interest that way. We do have education programs we call Global U. We have one upcoming, it's on U.S. Greenland Business Forum. It's February 1st and 2nd, and that's one of the Maine North Atlantic Development Office focus programs. And in the past, just to give you an idea, last November, we had a Mastering Export Documentation Program. We had a Global Cybersecurity Roundtable, and all these are listed on our website, which is www.MITC, which stands for Maine International Trade Center.com, which I'll put in the chat afterwards. So please, get on our mailing list and look at our website for additional information. And then last but not least, Brad did a great job explaining, giving an overview of the STEP grant. We are so grateful to SBA to help. That's a great example of collaboration. Maine International Trade Center administers or manages the grant for the state, but we couldn't do it without the SBA's support. So that's for, if you qualify as a small business under SBA's guidelines, then you could potentially qualify up to $20,000 a year for new business development. So that's like trade show participation, one-on-one matchmaking, counseling, trade mission participation. For compliance, you can hire it has to have an international business development angle though, but you can hire a consultant to help you with certain certifications, or just to get an overview of what's going on. For example, right now with any semiconductor type of equipment being shipped to China, you need some special handholding and making sure you're doing it right. And again, being the jack of all trades, we can give you the overview, but to work with an actual expert to help you go through the steps, we can connect you to one and then get up to 75% of the fees covered. So that's a great, the company is responsible for 25% of the cost. It's a reimbursement, so you have to come up with it up front, but then you get reimbursed. And I'm happy to one-on-one, if anyone wants to follow up, happy to give you an overview. There's e-commerce, translations. If you needed some documents or your website translated, this SBA grant would cover it. And on our website, there are further details, but basically it's a pretty straightforward. You apply for it. I recommend that you talk to me or one of my team colleagues about it. And then we make sure that it makes sense, and you should go ahead and apply. And then once you're approved, you can just go forward with the service, and then do the follow-up reimbursement process after. So that's a quick overview. I'm more than happy to talk to anyone afterwards one-on-one and tell you more about our services. And with that, I'll wrap it up. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I'll put my contact information in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that was an excellent overview and more information than I even understood what you did. So that was super educational. Next, I will open the floor for last but not least, but Karleen.
There you go. Great. Well, hello to everyone, and thank you to Danielle and Better Business for inviting New Ventures Maine to be at this event, and so that there's an opportunity for folks to learn more about actually a number of resources that are available within the state. I think Maine is a wonderful state to start a business, manage a business, small business, and so it's great to be part of this environment that we have here in Maine. So I'm Karleen Andrews, the Microenterprise Specialist or Small Business Advisor for New Ventures Maine, covering the Western region, which includes Androscoggin, Franklin, and Oxford counties. But we are, New Ventures Maine is a statewide organization. We have offices from Saco to Presque Isle, and I'm one of 5 microenterprise specialists across the state providing these services. And a little bit about, as Danielle mentioned, my background, a little bit varied, came from it a different way, background in forestry, child of the 70s and interested in, environmental things and managing forests, and also through ski industry. And that's probably where my small business experience and skills came from, is managing actually Tickum Mountain in Farmington, for those folks that are familiar with that little ski area, a great community ski area. So I've been with New Ventures Maine for 8 years, and my primary role is as a trainer, educator, and advisor to individuals that are curious about starting a business, interested in starting a business, don't know where to go, don't know where to start, as well as for those that are perhaps a little bit further along the way, but still looking for more information and guidance. And, New Ventures Maine and myself in this role, we see that we are just here to help others. Sometimes we help them focus their ideas, but basically provide them education, information, resources, connections to other great resources in the state, with the main goal of helping them reach their goal, whatever that is, and figuring out a plan to move forward with starting a business or other things. So that's kind of and that's actually one of the things I enjoy about this work, is that being able to provide that information and tools to others and helping them reach their goals. It's really very satisfying work. So New Ventures Maine, a little bit more information about the organization. We've been around since 1978, and we provide education and guidance to individuals. And actually, our mission is broader than just small business. We also provide resources, education, advising for folks that are interested in different careers, as well as personal financial management. And we often find that these areas of careers and self-employment and personal financial management overlap with each other, and that sometimes a barrier to moving ahead with a career or moving ahead with starting a business is also people having difficulties with perhaps there's a problem with their credit score, or finding ways to reduce their personal debt so they can move forward with whatever other goals they have. So we also provide services in that area as well. Let's see. So I don't know if I mentioned that we're administered by the University of Maine in Augusta. And I guess as a sampling of how many folks that we work with in 2021, we reached 1,300 people attended, participated in trainings, and over 300 folks that we provided individual assistance to. So that kind of gives you sort of a scope of the work that we do. So specifically about what we offer for services to entrepreneurs, small business owners, is that the first part of it is training. And so we have a sort of a core curriculum of classes that we offer on a regular basis. One is Introduction to Self-Employment. We kind of offer this on a monthly or a few times a month. We used to do them more in person, but of course, since 2020, we've been offering the classes mainly online, although we're looking to do more in-person training in the coming months. But anyway, so Introduction to Self-Employment, it's just a 1-hour workshop right now, webinar, and we provide information on risk-taking, a business plan outline, and common startup steps. And this is really helpful for folks that are kind of curious about it, but not really sure where to go and what to do next. Then another training we have is also called Business Basics, Brad. And so I don't know who came up with that name first, but I think we've had it for a while. Just putting that out there. Anyway, so ours is a 3-session class, which goes in depth into business, the business plan. The second session is focused on marketing strategies, pricing strategies. And then the third session is on business finances, financials. So understanding the lingo and the important finances, statements, and record keeping that folks need to know. So that's a 3-part one called Business Basics. And then we have a more in-depth level, Venturing Forth, Business Planning for Entrepreneurs. This is a 12-week class, and folks that attend, and it's quite a commitment. It's a day a week for those 12 weeks, 5 to 6 hours a day, plus work that you do at home. But from that, that's really a great opportunity for folks that have been trying to write a business plan, have been struggling with it, have been playing with it for a year or two, and really looking to really hone in on that. And so people that go through that program graduate with a written business plan and definitely have a stronger focus of going forward and how to move ahead. So we're going to be actually offering that in person in March in Brunswick. So that is, no, I don't believe it's on our website yet, but it will be soon. And so those are the core courses. In addition to those, we offer single topic classes, tax readiness for the self-employed, projecting cash flow, pricing. And so those are typically 1 hour online classes that we offer as well. And all of our classes are available for sign up at newventuresmaine.org. And I'll enter that information when I'm done. Let's see, just want to check on, make sure. Oh, and the other thing, in addition to the training, we also provide one-on-one assistance. So similar, so our services are somewhat similar to what Maine Small Business Development Center advisors do or CEI advisors do, is that we can also provide one-on-one assistance with folks. And again, helping people through the business planning process or marketing or, hey, how do I do a cash flow projection? So those are the types of things that we offer on an individualized basis, as well as some of that personal financial management issues that folks have. And I did mention the financial classes that we offer. And so those are also on our website. And for folks that are interested in that, go ahead and check those out. We offer classes on, budgeting, managing credit, improving credit, reducing debt, and those kinds of things. So I just want to put that out there as well, because that can be a strong, a hiccup for people and a barrier for them to move forward. So we do have some upcoming classes on January 24th at noon is tax readiness for the self-employed. It just kind of provides some information to help folks figure out, what do they need to pull together to be able to file their taxes and business taxes. And Business Basics, that 3-part one, is starting January 26th. And we'll probably offer that in a couple months as well. Yeah, I think that's all I have for now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was great information on your resources. I will touch a little bit on the Better Business Bureau. I won't take too much time, but the Better Business Bureau does cover Maine, so our resources cover Maine. We are based in Marlborough, Massachusetts, but we cover all of Eastern Mass, Maine, Vermont, and Rhode Island. We have been around for 110 years as a nonprofit, going on 111 years. So people kind of forget that we are still around, but we are, and that is my job to remind people of. People use us as a resource for both businesses and consumers. You can look up a business with us. Businesses can be listed with us. It's a free way just to have your business listed, rated, another way for a consumer to find you. We have over 6 million businesses listed with us. Another offer we have is our free small business resources on our website. It's just a collection of resources that we have, everything from recorded webinars with industry experts like this one to written articles on everything from getting your website from brick and mortar to online to marketing to different things like that. It's just a collection of those things, our library, if you will. We also have our memberships for businesses interested in accreditation, and that is a business can apply and become a member with us. They are then able to utilize our membership benefits, everything from we will build their website to do a marketing shoot to have business consultants chat with them and everything in between. You do have to apply and be in business for 6 months in order to be considered. But with that, you're able to use the BBB seal, the one right behind me, on your business and have that seal of trust with you. That is a very quick and brief overview of BBB, but if anybody has any questions or wants me to go more in depth about what our resources are and what we can offer, I'd be more than happy to do so, but I could talk BBB all day. So I will open the floor to questions. If anybody has any, they're more than welcome to put them right in the chat and I will relay them to our panelists, or you can unmute and just ask them out loud if that is easier for you. I will give every
just real quick too for Karleen. I believe you probably had the business basics first. I've been doing it for a couple of years and I changed it last year to that based off of it was just easier to say. But I'm probably going to move it back to business basics, basic business startup with the SBA. It's easy to do. It's less confusing, so people don't get our trainings confused. And it's just a 2-hour class that really would also probably help lead into what you're doing as well.
Great. Sounds good, Brad.
Going off of that, we have a question on that, and this is for you, Brad. What businesses can attend that class? Are there any requirements? Do they have to already be in the process of starting their business, or can it just be more of an idea?
Anyone looking to start a business or has a business they started within the last couple of years or something like that, that wants to see if there's something maybe they missed, or somebody that has that idea. It's good to go ahead and get the information ahead of time and start planning now. If you're not planning to start your business for a year or two down the road even, it's always good to start gathering information now from us and from all of our resource partners and the other partners right here.
Thank you. And Karleen, I had a very similar question for you. For your training classes, do you do those yearly for like a yearly enrollment, or is it more like semesters where people can join as needed? And what are the requirements for those for businesses?
Yeah, so all our trainings, our offerings are free of charge. And a lot of folks participate in like a single session workshop, or they'll take one class and maybe they'll come and sign up for another one a few weeks or a month later or whatever. So you can kind of, take whatever fits you, come in and out of that. The sessions that are multiple session, like business basics, it is better if you can, attend all 3 sessions of that. You just kind of get the whole picture of it. And the same thing with our 12-week class. That's not one you can come in and out of. That one is a commitment to that. That's a cohort of students. But yeah, other than that, we have participants that have been with New Ventures Maine, and sometimes they actually they utilize our services, and maybe years ago they were looking for help and guidance in a new career, and so they took some of our classes for that. And then a few years later, they see something of interest for maybe they're looking for more information to improve their skills in their own personal money management. They take a few classes there, and then then down the road they're like, hey, I'm getting ready to retire, but I think I want to start my own business, and then they take more classes there. So it's so we're pretty open and easygoing about that.
Excellent. We even had someone comment and say that they were in an intro class yesterday and it was wonderful. So
I recognize the name, Don.
Awesome. And one last question that I haven't seen others come in, and this one's for you, Zeynep. For StudyMaine, how do you get involved? How do you find the students, or how do students find the program?
Sure. We have a website, but it's more to, it's the first stop. We typically want to use it for students, parents, education agents to land at the school's websites. So it's first point of entry, but we also organize, so education agents are the consultants that the family and students rely heavily on. Let's say, I'll give Turkey as an example. That you want to send your kid for high school, let's say, overseas for whatever purpose, so they, you know, get another culture, use their English, get their English more proficient, etc. Or for university, you're a student and you really want to study overseas for multiple reasons, for the degree, etc. But you don't, you know, there are all these, you can go to the UK, you can go to Australia, you can go to Canada, you can go to US. So you work with an education agent to understand the financial assistance options, the different degrees, and an education agent is the advisor. So we try to educate the education agents on Maine and the great opportunities for education in Maine, and we want to promote Maine as a. Last September, we had a group of education agents from Mexico come to the state, and we took them to different campuses around the state. We took them to 10 different campuses, all the way from Portland to Washington County to, you know, Foxcroft Academy to. So we try to do that to, you know, to because once you get to Maine, you realize how wonderful it is at Maine, you know, as a place to live, but for great education as well. But we also try to do those education missions that I was talking about. We are hoping to do actually to one to Mexico, because it's a good connector. They were here to Mexico to promote and make connections. So that's how there are the different ways we're trying to attract students here and keep the students here, because let's say a student is here for high school from, let's say, Mexico, then we want to make sure that they're connected to USM, UMaine, UMaine Augusta, and all the opportunities here. So
Absolutely. And it's a great reason to visit Maine. It's a beautiful place, and you're correct. The education is excellent. So I understand why you work so hard to bring them here. I haven't seen any last questions come in. So with that, I'll give everybody a couple minutes back of their day. But I just want to say thank you so much to all our panelists today. Your time and expertise is greatly appreciated. And a huge thank you to our audience for being here and being with us. We appreciate it. This has been recorded, so it will go up on the Better Business Bureau's Vimeo and YouTube. And you can find that right on bbb.org. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their day and enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle.
Of course.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
everyone.
Have a great day.
You too.